Welcome. Last time we were discussing Tivra Samvega Namasana. Meaning is very simple for all of those practitioners. The goal. And what is the goal in yoga? Goal in yoga is samadhi. Which samadhi? Two types of samadhi. Sampragyat, sampragyat. Other samadhi is not counted, but effort is counted. Samadhis obtained in Ekagra, that is concentrated state of chittam or mind, and samadhi obtained in the state of mind. These two samadhis are counted in as an achievement or the goal of yoga. However, as I told you, the nature of chittam or mind itself is samadhi. So that means in whichever chitta bhumika we work, whether it is Shipta, Vikshipta, or Moodha. Shipta, Moodha, Vikshipta, in the right order, if I say, it is giving us knowledge. What is Samadhi? Samadhi is knowledge, nothing else. Through your mind, you achieve knowledge. And here in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, equally in Tantra, we begin our journey from the mind. And we are the mind. We are none other than the mind. If you take away this entity, which is called mind, what remains is a machine which is capable of sustenance and procreation. That's it. Because the faculty of mind is developed in humans, therefore they have become or earned the capacity to know something beyond or something more refined than any other animal on the planet can. So we are the mind. Let us understand that we are the mind. And what is mind then? We'll have to understand. Mind is a tool, a faculty which you have, but it is closest to you, and therefore you can be referred to as mind. For example, you know that you are not your body because when your body gets old, you still call yourself I. So that I is not defined by the state of body. The state of body does not take away your identity that you think you are or that you have defined for yourself that this is me. But in the outer sense, everyone knows you through your body only. Without body, you are invisible. You cannot be grasped. In the same way, the soul, the Atman, the real self, is that real I which has a body or mind. So, how do you recognize the soul? There are sometimes these phrases used. He's a great soul. He's an enlightened soul. He's a compassionate soul, and so on and so forth. What defines soul? The soul is defined by the mind, the body, not what we understand it from outside, right? As you are not what you are understood from outside. You are perceived from outside. So let us understand who we are. And even in Tantra, it has been said for the beginners, Shiva Sutra, Anvopaya, Sutra number 1, Atma Chittam. The soul is mind. So you begin from there. You are not anything else. You are your mind, the not the definitions carried in mind. Recognize the qualities, the intrinsic characteristics which your mind exhibit is you. Not that you are, because in your mind you have something called smriti. Go back to sutras and then you'll say, Pratyah panchatayah klishtaha klishtaha. There I defined that, or Patanjali says that there is one vritti called smriti, memory. The mind has a vritti called memory, but memory is not the mind. You are your mind. Now think again. What is this mind then? If this is not the smriti, the memory, the knowledge I carry, pure mind, mind which is engaged in imagination. Imagination is a faculty of mind, but imagination is not mind. Think about it. We gather here only to deepen our understanding about self. We are our mind. Then what is the mind? How do you know the mind? Okay, I will give you another example, then you will understand probably. One man is a husband, is a son, maybe a father, maybe a brother, maybe an employee, maybe an employer, maybe a neighbor, right? This is the one man, right? Depending on which function, which activity he is engaged, we will call that person by different names. But husband is not the man. Son is not the man. The brother is not the man. Man is man. And the man who takes this shape, depending on which kind of function he is performing, is not the man. He's a colored man. He's a man with vrittis. A man with the vritti of wagging his tail or roaring at the top of his voice is called husband. Take away that vritti, the man who prostrates at the lotus feet of another person is a son. Take out that vritti and the man remains. So man is neither the son, nor the father, nor the husband, nor the brother, none. Man is something which is giving shelter to all these things. So do you know any man in this world? Probably not. You always know a man with the functionalities. You define that way, right? Hardly, occasionally, sometimes we treat a man as a man. If nothing, then the man will become, based on his behavior and attitude, external things which we are able to perceive, the man may be a good man or a bad man, but not the man. Correct or not? But we want to see the man. In the same way, we are the mind. We are the mind. Really, truly, we are the mind. But not the mind which is imagining, not the mind which is perceiving, engaged in the act of perception, not the mind which is ill perceiving or not wrongly perceiving things, We are not the mind which is remembering. We are not that mind. We are just the mind. You want to know yourself? Then know yourself as mind, not the functions of mind, but the mind itself. So, as I said, a man is a man, and depending on what intrinsic qualities he has, whatever fears or whatever kind of attitudes he has, it will reflect in every relationship. Yes or no? He's a suspecting kind of person. He will suspect in every relationship. It's not that he will trust. In some relationships, he will trust. The core undercurrent, the core characteristic of that man, if it is just suspecting nature, what we call swabhava, then in every relationship, every act, he will be a suspicious man, right? He'll be suspicious husband, he'll be suspicious son, he'll be suspicious brother, he'll be suspicious. Is it not? So that way, the attitude, the characteristic, the intrinsic quality which this man carries, in similar way, the mind also carries five different bands of nature. Please understand this. We'll have to get back to basics again and again. Otherwise, yoga will remain the twisting of body and pumping the air. Patanjali does not refer to that kind of yoga. Patanjali talks about the yoga which is dealing with mind. And therefore, we should be clear about it. What is mind? So, mind is that which is having five bands of nature. One, you already know, Shikta. Another, Moodha. Third, Vikshipta. Fourth, sorry, there are only four, right? There are only four. Five. Ekagra. Fourth, Ekagra. Fifth, Niruddha. These are the bands in which the mind can exist. As we also may be a man fearful, suspicious. We have different bands, right? Grateful, ungrateful, loyal, that kind of, no? So he will be showing that. He will be having that undercurrent of loyalty. The man who keeps his promises. That's the tendency, characteristic. Yes or no? So that way the man will be different in different relationships. All in all shades of relationships, he will be exhibiting that quality. Yes or no? In the same way, the mind having these five bands of nature. Mind has five natures. Five. Shipta, Moodha, Vikshipta, Ekagra, and Niruddha. And in each of these, mind interacts with the objects, or you can say subject, through samadhi. Mind is never devoid of this state which is called samadhi, because samadhi is intrinsic to mind. But what is yoga? The yoga is the samadhi which that kind of mind achieves, which is in ekagra or niruddha. That is the goal. But the mind is in samadhi in each of these. So which samadhis we want to work for? The two. That is in the state of ekagra, concentrated, and in the state of niruddha. That is even beyond ekagra, which is not even kshipta, vikshipta, moodha, ekagra, all gone. Then what remains is real mind. Understand? Monkey mind to donkey mind to butterfly mind to the one who sits on one leg in the pond, completely stable. not moving um, even a bit, only focused, completely focused. And whenever it will find a fish, grab that kind of mind. And then the mind which is free of all these. So, what we wish to achieve is the concentrated mind or a mind which is beyond all the shades of it. So, yoga means we should work on the mind, the nature of the mind. Not that we start working on something else. Like, I will do pranayam, I will do brahmari, I will do surya namaskar, I will do mantra chanting. All things you can do, but you are not going to succeed unless you have moved to Ekagra-niruddha, which means the quality of mind itself needs to be worked on. No other practice. The real practice of yoga is to improve the quality of the mind. The quality. What is the quality? Whether it is a monkey mind, donkey mind, butterfly mind. So we all stay in that zone of butterfly mind. We stay concentrated for some time, but then probably the smell of other flower, and then we move towards that. Then we sit there for a few minutes or few seconds, and then we again fly to another flower. This is our mind. As of now, we work in this zone mostly. I'm not saying most of us operate in the three bands, these three bands: Kshipta, Mudha, Vikshipta, monkey, donkey, and butterfly. But this doesn't solve our purpose. So we have to change to that state where we can stay concentrated. That should be the quality of mind which we can. That means being available to whatever thing you are doing 100% all the time in every situation. That is our sadhana. Because that is basically working and creating new kind of coloring, which we call vasana, or intrinsic quality, which we called chitta bhumika. So work on that aspect of mind. Staying concentrated and not getting disturbed is the quality which you will achieve while you are in butterfly zone. Because this butterfly zone is displaying, is exhibiting that element of concentration which gets disturbed easily. A butterfly is also focused, but focused for very limited time. As soon as she is disturbed a little bit, a swing of air, something like that, and a smell or something, it shifts, flies to another thing that way. So what we are working on? We are working on mind. And then when we will move to that state of mind, which means wherever we are, whatever we are doing it 100%. Then we have moved to yoga. That kind of mind which can now engage in yoga. But let me tell you, even that state which we think that only concentration will be enough, then it is not. It's the prime requirement. But there are certain other things. Other things, unless until dealt with properly, will keep you in the butterfly zone only. You can't remain concentrated. And what is it? Raga, Dvesha, Avidya, Abhinivesh, that we discussed. So we need to parallelly work on many fronts. The more we know, the more we are clear what we need to be engaged in. We clearly understand what is our actionable, That only ensures success. But here in the last sutra, it is said, it's not that you are doing it, just doing it, taking your own sweet time, and giving that, remembering that phrase ever, slow and steady wins the race. No, you have to be fast also, you have to be focused also, and you have to be really intending to achieve what you want all the time. That's the quality you should adopt. Fast, not in the sense of being fast, absorbed, because absorption itself is the progress here. Being concentrated, you see, get faster to the concentration zone. Can you hasten it? No. It is going to be achieved by stillness. The word used is hasten your progress in concentration. How will it be achieved? By haste? No, by stillness. So you have to be faster means what? You have to have that intent of remaining concentrated. That is one. Avidya, raga, dvesha, etc. also you need to work on. Last time or last to last time, I talked about those 5 things. Avidya, raga, dvesha, asmita, abhinivesha. I did not intentionally touch this subject of abhinivesha, but abhinivesha means many meanings it has. It has fear of death also. Abhinivesha also means engagement. Engagement in the wrong things. For example, you have raga. Raga will be triggered by what? Will be triggered by asmita. Asmita is triggered by what? Abhinivesha. Right? And all collectively, raga, dvesha, avidya. Raga, dvesh will take you to avidya. That way. So abhinivesh will trigger asmita. Asmita will trigger raga, dvesh. Raga, dvesh will trigger avidya. In the reverse order. Not in this sequence. Avidya first. You may get that explanation also. I can show you that as well. That in ascending order also. But now I'm giving you another perspective. Abhinivesh is the key, not avidya. I'll tell you why. See, abhinivesh is fear of death. Fear of what we have. And fear of death means what? Fear of losing something. Losing life itself. Fear is always of losing something. Fear is always about losing something. Yes or no? Hmm? Can you be fearful if you are gaining something? In that situation, you can be fearful? No. Whenever you are losing something. What are you losing? Let's see. Let's see. As an example, a situation arises in front of you, and immediately, because the undercurrent of abhinivesh is there, I should not lose anything. What at best, or what is the highest priority for you that you should not lose? You should not lose your image. I'm not talking of death there. That is what I think I am, and I should not lose that. I should not lose. What you should not lose? Think about it. The highest thing is that I should not lose this body. Of course, everyone works to that. Let us drop that. Let us discount it. That fear of death. Let's drop it. Drop it means let's not count in abhinivesh. What else you fear the most? Your asmita. Right or not? The annihilation complete, annihilation of asmita or I amness is death. But beyond that, there are various shades of I amness. For example, I am a woman. Now, the abhinivesh will be that I should not behave that it doesn't look like a woman. You see, fear. I lose my identity as woman. And therefore, I will behave, I will act, I will talk, I will walk the way that keeps the womanness in me. That asmita I must protect. I should not lose. Abhinivesh is working. Correct? Yes or no? If you treat yourself as son, then you will immediately start working. I should not lose my image of being a son. I must do something about whatever image you have about your parents, about your elderly people, so that I don't lose being a son or a daughter, right? You're fearful. And why you are fearful now? Think about it. You are not directly fearful of losing your asmita. Your asmita is defined based on your relationships with the world, and that is already rooted in raga and dvesha. You see, as you see asmita of a woman, then woman is a woman with relation to what? With relation to the world. Yes or no? That means you have a, an ideal or idea of being a woman, which is asmita, in connection with what? Whom you should not give the wrong notion, the world. Why? Because you are in love with the world. You can't let that world perceive you wrongly. Hmm? Because you love that world. If I don't behave, I don't act, I don't walk, I don't dress, I don't do things as a woman, then the world or the people or the relation in which I am invested, I have raga for, will take it that way, that I am not a woman. Yes or no? Correct, na? From there, and where it was rooted, being in raga dvesha means what? You have actually started showing that you have already moved into avidya. Why? It has led to avidya. Raga dvesha, like or dislike, has already, or you know, it has already taken you to avidya. Why? Because raga dvesha means taking some things dear to you based on your projections. Correct? Based on your notion. One person dear to you, maybe your husband, maybe your father, maybe your mother, and depending on that, you will act. But that means what? After all, everyone around you is a human, but you have taken some humans as your own, and then among those you have taken some people as your father, mother, brother, sister, wife, husband, etc., etc. That is your projection. Correct? You're dealing with humans only, by the way. Everyone around is a human. You too, by the way. But you have taken yourself as something else, as Asmita, and then same Asmita you have transferred to everyone. At the level of Asmita, you have given some Asmita to each one of them. The definitions are there. And that will create Ragadvesh. Ragadvesh will lead to Avidya. That means you have not perceived the world correctly. The world is like this. We have created a relationship. God has not created a relationship. Right or not? God has not created such relationships. It is our projection. God has not defined in that way that these are the relations and this is the way you should be acting, and you should be interacting. That may be a subject matter of human behavior and survival and the maintenance of social code and conduct. But and we may also say that it is divine. God has given it. Otherwise, people will not take it. Now, say if humans have created this, why should we follow it? You see, why should we follow it? Then we'll have to say, God has given. We'll have to give reasons for that. No, why why the brother should not marry the sister? No, God has said that. We may have reasons for that. God has said that. It's a godly rule. You can't deny that. And that is how we define. But even if we deny that right to God, and even if we take those rules, conducts, etc., created by humans also, they have value in it in the community living, right? Because through those relationships, through those morals and etc., we learn how to become aware of various shades of emotions in us. Otherwise, we will become animals again. Correct, na? By going through operating through those different morals and those different things, we discover different shades of our own attitude, and we know that we can be whatever we want to be. Otherwise, we will also be the same as as animals are doing everything just like animals. So that means it's an evolution. You have to live by the codes and conducts, etc., but fully knowing they are at the level of, you see, social interactions. Not that they are absolute in terms of my peace of mind. We are working on that mind which will be impacted by all these. Collectively it is known as avidya. Collectively avidya is the mother. But I have also proven for the most of you, Abhinivesh is the father, right? You want to save your identity, and therefore you work like that. So two extremes are basically driving it. But Abhinivesh is also avidya, for that matter. It is also rooted in avidya. But I'm showing you some other aspect of it. You are fearful. You're always fearful. You see, some people fear that agar samadhi lag gayi, if I got that somehow I the samadhi gets triggered, and then after samadhi is broken, after samadhi ends, if I come out and a transformed person, will I remain a father? Will I remain a husband? Will I remain a wife? Or will I not treat the people the way I am right now? You see, that is the fear. I can tell you that is also the fear. Recognize that. We are always fearful. Even in this so-called highest absorption which samadhi can give, and probably that, as per the masters, is the highest goal for us. Even getting there we fear. Why? Because of abhinivesh, because of avidya. Let me get back to that also. Because of avidya, not having the right knowledge. So for all who have to be on the path of yoga, they have to be aware of all the time. They have to be aware of one thing all the time. Are they operating out of avidya, or the other extreme? Are they operating out of abhinivesh? Or if you have not understood abhinivesh, are you operating out of asmita? See, you behave in a particular way, you suffer a particular life, or you enjoy a particular life by giving yourself an identity. That is called asmita. You suffer all the tantrums of a man because you have given yourself asmita of being a wife, or you suffer all the tantrums of a woman because you have given yourself asmita of a husband, right? So therefore these things will come in the way because these things define the tonality of chittam. A husband can never be quiet, a wife can never be calm, a mother can never be free of worry, a father can never be out of burden, right? A brother can never be out of the feeling of cooperating or jealousy. I mean, depending on what is your, uh, what type of person you are. This is what it is. So when you define yourself, asmita drives you, and asmita makes you treat the world altogether differently. Such a mind can never be quiet. Such a mind can never be calm. And for that, if you remember, many a times in my discourses, I have given this sweet practice of becoming nobody for some time. Try that. First, you have to become a husband or a wife or a mother or a doctor. You have become, and then sit for meditation. When you become a daughter and sit for meditation and samadhi, you see, as I say, chitta is always in samadhi, mind is always in samadhi. So if I become a daughter or a mother or a husband or a wife and try to enter in samadhi, what will be my samadhi? See, try to do it. If you are a daughter, your samadhi will be your parents. Hmm? If you are a, you can't be, you can't think anything else. The moment you assume that identity, that asmita of being a father, you can't think of anything else other than your children. Yes or no? Correct? But now, for some time, I give you a minute. Sit there and discard all these identities for self, become a nobody. Try that. I'll be back. What is your experience? In this state, did you exist or not? You existed, no? You were present, correct? You were there, alive. Okay. What was in your mind? Tell me. I can guarantee nothing. Correct, na? Am I right? Did you experience that the state of mind, the quality of mind, the agitation of mind, etc., changed drastically? It moved to a different band altogether. If I ask you, in that state when you were nobody, was that real you or not? That is real you. Others are manufactured you, conditional you. That is eternal you. Others are temporary you. That never changes. We only impose the asmita on this. That real nobody is not nobody. Nobody can become everybody. It has the potential. And that is how it does. That is how it carries out itself in the transactional world. This nobody, which is the real self, has the capacity to become everybody. Matlab, it can become a mother, it can become a daughter, it can become a friend, it can become a husband, it can become a wife, it can become anything. It can become anything. But essentially, it is nothing, means nobody. It can become everybody, but it is nobody. Right or not? Should we dissolve that identity also? Being a woman, being a man, that also? Well, that is not your identity, anyways. You always remain nobody. That nobody can take the shape of a woman because the starts identifying with the body, which is immediate instrument available. Then I am a woman, right? This is my first identification of the world. How do you identify the world? You start identifying the world starting from yourself. How do you identify yourself? How do you identify yourself in this world? Through this body, right? And then you start perceiving other bodies using the benchmark of this body. And therefore, you immediately get identity or asmita of being a woman, a man. But even that is not true. At the level of chittam, at the level of mind, which is unsullied mind, uncontaminated mind, unmasked mind, is pure. You see, unmasked mind, unmask yourself. These are masks which we carry. Essentially, we carry these masks, these layers of asmitas, aspects of asmita. The I amness is not the true I amness. The I amness is sullied with woman, being a woman. I amness is sullied being a man. I amness is sullied being a father. I amness is being sullied being a husband. I amness being sullied being a son. But will you say, can I still operate in this world without getting sullied? Yes or no? That is the question. Because you say, can I still operate in this world without taking myself as anything else? You see, yoga will answer that question. Patanjali, as I said, will not leave any question unanswered. Yes, we can. That is the goal. Or else, how will you ever achieve that state of contentment, joy, and stillness all the time, irrespective of what is around? Still living in this world, still living in this body, but not being affected and impacted by the world and the immediate world which we carry. Patanjali will define that. Patanjali will tell you the way also. The answer is yes, we can. It's exactly the same example again and again I had to give to you again for the on the cost of being repetitive. Initially, when you were driving a car, learning to drive a car, you could only be a driver. You could not afford to be a mother. You could not afford to be a daughter. You could not afford to be a husband. You had to become a driver, only driver. At that moment, you could not think of your relationships, identities. Did a mother in you learn driving? Did a sister in you learn driving? Did a daughter in you learn driving? No, a driver has to be there, nobody else. Later on, you can assume the role of being a mother also while you're driving. Because that has become your sanskara. That is called unconscious competence. Your sanskara is that I am nobody. Now that is deepened enough. That will continue to run through. The program will run through. You may think that while you're driving the car now, because now, when after years of driving or maybe some months of driving, now you can be a husband while driving. You can be a wife while driving. because you can go on a fighting throughout your driving and still do everything right on the path of driving. No mistakes. When the red light is, you after that unconscious competence is achieved, and somebody says, "You are not driving at all." Will you take it? You are not consciously driving it, therefore you are not driving. Will you take it? If somebody asks you then, when you change the gear, do you know that you are changing the gear? You may say, no, I don't know. It gets changed. But then next question will be, do you change it or someone else changes it? Go deeper in this question. Then you'll say, I change it. Can you say, I don't change the gear? I don't accelerate. I don't apply brake. I do it. So this is what I am referring to here. Initially, because of the chitta bhumika, different chitta bhumika, and because of the quality of the mind, we are not being able to actually have that feeling that I am changing the gear while you change it. All the driving is happening and you're not aware of it because of your chitta bhumika, because you're operating out of your tamas as of now. The tamas content of our mind is covering that awareness there. But what we are trying here, there are three bhumikas. The sattva is the bhumika of ekagra. The sattva is the most dominant constituent element or tattva or material of mind which is operating in the band which is called ekagra or concentrated. In these three, the mixture of the three works, and depending on which area that has to become dominant, it becomes dominant. So we mostly get sullied by tamas because we are not dealing with our tendencies of tamas, and therefore the mind stuff itself is tamasic or rajasic. It is working on the two bands primarily, while the mind having the substratum of sattva, which is the major element, major guna or material which constitute or which make up this thing called mind. Mind is made up of three materials. Did I say that? Sattva, rajas, and tamas. Primarily sattva. But we also develop tamas, we also develop rajas based on our interactions and based on our needs. And this tamas and rajas getting to that level of dominance where they can overlap sattva is possible only in three chitta bhumika, which is kshipta, moodha, and vikshipta. Beyond that, the tamas and rajas do not have that much potency that they can cover the dominance of sattva, which is also stillness and awareness of that mind. So if a yogi learns driving, and if a yogi learns driving, while he is driving, he will definitely say that I am changing the gears. And how does he change it? The activity part is taken care by the rajas. Stillness is that awareness. That means awareness of that yogi, concentration of that yogi is highest. He is aware of everything, unlike us. That we are driving the car and it feels like as if someone else is driving. Why is that happening? Think about it. My question was, while you drive the car, someone asks you, are you really aware of that you are shifting the gear, you apply pedal, brakes, etc., etc.? Are you? No, I'm not aware. So the next question can be asked, are you driving the car or someone else drives the car? Then you say, no, I drive the car. So if you drive the car, why are you not aware of it? Because of chitta bhumika, because of tamas, because of lack of sattva. Not that sattva has become less. It is always the dominant element or dominant material. But the activity of rajas and tamas has increased. You see, they have you, and that is the desire of self. You see, ahankara, ego, which is also the content of mind. In which way you want to operate, it is decided by ego, ahankara. You wish to operate in tamas, and therefore tamas takes over. Not that the tamas is dominant quality of mind. You wish to operate in such a way because you have been trained and the world seems to be accepting that way of working. And therefore, you have also driven yourself to tamas. We hide the true nature, that sattva of mind is hidden because of our desire. Don't think that tamas or rajas will take over the sattva of mind. It does not have the capacity, by the way. You desire, so therefore it takes over.
Acharya,
Understand?
when Thomas or Rajas are dominated, can we still stay at the same of
Yeah,
no one,
they
nobody?
get dominated.
Oh,
They get dominated because we desire so.
no, I understand this, but for my experience in this time, not always. I
Okay.
have the other experience too, but today, because of my situation right now, I was very, very angry. And I tried to be nobody. I
Hmm.
didn't feel my body. There was no my body, no even mind. I was not thinking, but the anxious was there. And I did not know in that just experience. I am experienced being nobody or still I'm somebody and
Okay.
I am not aware of.
Okay. Let me tell you what is happening there. This is what is called a vasana. Vasana getting activated. It takes time for that vasana to change. You see how? Let me give you an example. Then you'll understand. Vasana is also uh, it is said to be coloring, right? But vasa word has also been used equally for the fragrances. Vasa. We use the word suvas. Suvas means good smell. How this vasana works? I give you a rose to smell. You and you smell it so deeply and intensely, then immediately I give you another flower to smell. For some time, you'll not be able to sense that smell. For some moments, few moments, you will not be able to perceive the smell of new flower which is handed over to you because the vasa has become stabilized in your system. That is vasana, coloring. I'm just giving an example. Now that gets activated. Vasana means it is coloring, but through that coloring, we have so many associations, by the way. In our mind, we have so many memories, smritis connected to that. When you get angry, all of that stuff gets agitated, it starts vibrating. Everything which is attached to it, whether you are aware or not, because you are in vikshipta or vikshipta bhumika, you will not be aware of what is happening at the level of mind. One bout of anger is actually giving jerks to all associated memories, conscious or unconscious. Whether you are conscious or unconscious, then suddenly you say, I become nobody. Okay, you become nobody at the level of mind only. You have stopped operating at the level of asmita only, right? You dropped all the identity, then you became nobody. That gives time. to mind to calm down. But you see, the vibrations which have already started, it will take time to calm down. That is why this anxiousness, anxiety. Now, I'm talking from the perspective of your experience. From the perspective of experience of a yogi, what is it? He has no vasana of krodha or anger. That's the difference. Because he has freed himself from raga, dvesha, moha, kama, etc. Why? Krodha is rooted in kama or desire. He has freed himself from the desire itself and he has practiced it enough. And this new practice has gone so deep into his mind that no more, it has nullified the existing vasanas, the traces of vasana of krodha. So for him, the krodha is what is called a spontaneous response. It does not mean the yogi cannot do krodha or anger. He can when the need is he will, but it is superficial. It is not going to play the strings of veena because they don't exist anymore. So for him, that moment of anger is anger, but the next moment itself he is fine. Even in that moment he is fine. A yogi is not hypocritical, by the way, in that sense. We in Vikshipta state might be hypocrite. That this action, we will say, ah, no, 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 I was just imitating, acting to be angry. Hmm? No, no, no. In the Vikshipta state, we may say so. But for Ekagra Chitta Bhumika, that's not a possibility at all. He is whatever he is. If he is angry, yes, he is angry. But at the core, his ekagrata, his concentration of awareness of what is happening in the mind itself is at the peak all the time, in every activity. While he is getting angry, he is aware of this anger also. And therefore, he is able to deal with it. What happened in your case that you became angry at that time you did not pay attention why you are becoming angry at the time itself. If you would know why you are becoming angry, the reasons behind it, operating out of vidya, then you may have shown your anger but would not have become agitated. That's the possibility. So always recognize this. While we are all in the vikshipta state, we have still opportunities to work on ourselves. From there only, from this mind stuff which is called butterfly mind, we will move to that mind of someone who is completely concentrated, ekagra. We can develop that. And this is the ground on which we work. We should always know that. So for today, I think this much is enough. The sutra which I was about to take, the next sutra of Patanjali Yoga Sutras, it is about something else. Whatever I discussed was not the subject matter of the sutra, seemingly. But no, this is the subject matter of the same sutra which we are about to just go through. Earlier it was said that Tibra Samveganam Asanna. Now it is said that there are still, we may say Tibra, but that we intense desire, intense awareness to work on your mind because you are the mind. Please remember, when you are working on the mind, you are working on yourself. Don't think that you are working on anything else other than you. It is the real you. You are your mind. Work on it. And the beauty is that mind works on itself. It has so much beautifully orchestrated or well connected, well oiled system that it works on itself and it never takes credit also. You take the credit. You see, mind works for itself, it changes, but the intent is yours. Intent is yours. The desire is yours. The vidya, the right knowledge, is also yours in that sense that I am not interested in anything other than me. And who am I? I am the mind. That knowledge is with you. That the deepest core of your mind is you in that sense. What drives the mind is the intent of the heart of the mind, which is you. Anyways, so the sutra was that out of that intense things also, intense yogis also, for those the success is very near, the goal is very near. Even there also, you have three types. Everyone will be claiming, say, all of you will say, see, who are you? I am a Tattva Shakti Vigyan practitioner. Each one of you will claim that. But if I ask you, how do you define your intensity? And everyone, I am intense enough. Let's say, I'm dedicated enough. But look at it. Everybody's dedication and intensity is different. You know that. If you don't know that, at least I know that. So there it is said that in everyone will say, I am intense enough for my goal. But in that intense enough, which is truly intense, there also the three types exist, which is called mridu, madhya, adhimatra. Three. That lower grade intensity, the medium grade intensity, and the supreme intensity. It's not that every intensity is the same intensity. People think they are intense enough. They are intense enough. They are determined enough. They are completely hooked onto the self-knowing. No, they are not. Mridu, madhya, adhimatra. Hmm? So decide about yourself. All whatever I talked about today was giving you the reminder so that you become intense enough. How? By knowing the right thing, by knowing the right way, by moving away from avidya, by working on raga, dvesha, by adopting the right kind of asmita, by not fearing anything in this world. That is how you work. And that is what will change your intensity. Otherwise, nothing will change. The commentary by Vedavyas on Patanjali says that in Ekagra state of mind, which I am referring to as nobody, you see, because in Ekagra you cannot be anybody but just awareness. Yes or no? Just awareness, just conscious and available, 100%. The Ekagravastha, the first quality is said, it reveals the true meaning of everything. That is what you are referring to. In fact, that is the reality. When only in you are in Ekagra, that means you are in nobody, then only you will know the right things. Otherwise, it is not possible. And Ekagra means you are nobody. You operate from there. You are just the awareness. Neither your father, nor your mother, nor your daughter, nor your husband, nothing. You are just awareness. In that awareness, wherever it is applied, it reveals the true meaning of that. That's the state of Ekagra only. But let me tell you, even if you are doing it now, understanding, let us take all of us as an example, even if we are doing it now, we are engaged in concentration, we are able to do complete awareness. If we tend to get away from it because of any reasons, you say, Abhi to theek ho gaya, time is over, now I need to do other works. Say, you know, the time for meditation is up, 20 minutes gone or 20 hours gone, 4 hours I need to sleep. Suppose if you go to that, then also we are all in a vikshipta state as per Patanjali Yoga Sutra, because we are getting obstructions in it. Ekagra means once attained never goes. That is what a yogi is. He is always concentrated. He is always in that awareness. And that is why for such a yogi, even nidra or the deep sleep is also a vritti, because he is aware of it also. It's a very high state. Let us not fool ourselves by saying that we are yogi. No, no. We are aspiring to be. And let us all try that honestly and earnestly. There is no harm in it. Because everything, every little step you progress, it is going to get into your sanskara, which will help you in future. Maybe in this lifetime itself you achieve. If not, then no problem. It will help again. For which the sutra was given. Till the time we reach that state where our sanskaras start driving us in a birth, in an incarnation, we are called bhava pratyaya. Now we are destined to be enlightened, destined to do Atma Sakshatkar and Paramatma Sakshatkar. What is that? Bhava Pratyaya. Two types. It has already been defined. I think Sutra 15. Videha Prakriti Layana. So we all are aspiring to go to that state that after leaving this body, we are born again and our sanskaras drive us. Right? But please remember, we die every day. We are born every new morning. So don't think that we are waiting for ultimate death. Okay? That's the end of it. Thank you. Let's pray and then we will. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shiva.